So I just had a realization mid-trigger. So I've been on the self-awareness, like healing journey for years and years and years. I suffered from depression and anxiety, which forced me to go to therapy, in which I discovered I had undiagnosed ADHD and complex trauma. So I have a lot of issues. I don't have as many issues as I used to, thankfully. But I have been forced into the path of self-awareness and healing. So during my day, I tend to get triggered as normal human beings do. Even though I spend my days trying to be grateful and positive, it happens. I get triggered. I just realized when I was in the midst of a trigger that I don't think I've ever talked about what I do to get out of a trigger. I figured to talk about it. So, like I said, most of my day I try to be positive. I try to be aware of my thoughts and not believe the negative ones. But you know what? Some slip in, and sometimes my triggers and negative freaking patterns are just there. And so I got triggered and I got emotionally dysregulated. If you don't know what that means, or maybe you've just been getting triggered your whole life and not even really understood what it is, let me explain to you. I'm safely driving, by the way. I'm doing this hands-free, hands on the wheel, hands-free. Basically, when you get triggered, you become emotionally dysregulated. So basically, if no one taught you how to regulate your own emotions, so if you were sent to your room as a child a lot when you got upset, or if being upset was just not something your parents tolerated, you basically learned that your emotions are bad, that you shouldn't have them, and either that you are just bad in general for having them, or that you should push them down, pretend you don't have them at all, and suppress and deny them in their existence at all. So one of those two paths tends to happen, and this is completely unconscious, so we don't even know. So if you feel like any of this might be something that actually you're struggling with, like say you just get triggered and you literally can't control your reactions to things, messing up your personal relationships, this is probably something you could look into. So this creates a self-concept that is based in shame. So basically, your entire life then, after whatever you decided that it was shameful that you have emotions, every time that you have an emotional reaction, which you will because you're a human being and we all have emotional reactions to things, you will internally shame yourself or internally tell yourself that you should not be feeling the way you're feeling. And so you're internally denying yourself. So either way, you internalize usually the parent or guardian that you had. So if you had, and usually the loudest, meanest one, of course. So that's the one that comes out, or that's the part of you that comes out berating you for spilling the milk, or like me, spilling my kombucha on my front seat of my car, which is my trigger today.
So my husband ended up calling me, so enjoy me skating while I explain the rest of what I was talking about. So basically, if you make a mistake, then you decide that you are a horrible person and you failed at life, even if it's the smallest mistake, because you become so emotionally dysregulated, it feels like the end of the world. So the way that I personally get out of this is I use my own self-awareness that I have this internal part of me that's being mean to me, and I just try to be aware that everyone makes mistakes, that everyone is a freaking human being, including myself. We are so quick to give everybody else like 1,000,000 inches and ourselves 0. And what I mean by that is everybody else can make a mistake and we can forgive them. But if we make a mistake, end of the world, we're horrible. We failed and our life is over. So if this is you, I hope this video helped you. And yeah, I love you. Follow me for more. And most of all, hang in there. Life is hard.